We still don't have an intro to the pod, so instead you're gonna get a wild WellsMania. Welcome to the most underrated. Shout out to Tellamore. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now running wild with the most underrated wrestling podcast in the world, WellsMania Podcast. I'm your host, the Kyle Wells. Be sure to follow me all over everywhere at WellsMania. And running wild with me, you love him, you hate him, you can't get enough of him. He is the world's greatest co-host, Stone Payne Productions. My brother Payton, how are you, my dude? Did you like my my Tellamore impression there?
Yeah. I mean, you got to add the crazy in there, though.
Oh yeah.
Wells Crazy Mania.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Wells Crazy Mania. So
there you go. Perfect.
For everyone who doesn't know who Tellamore is,
he's a legend.
He's something. My wife actually, he popped up on her FYP on TikTok. He is an aspiring musician who is trying to become the next big thing in music. Go look up this guy's TikToks. Bless his heart, he's doing his very best out here. And Payton goes, well, you know, we're looking for a new entrance song to the podcast. You should reach out to him. Well, Payton, guess what? I did reach out to him. And he got back to me, and I'm going to read you. It's buried on here somewhere. But he said that he's not quite ready to parody his songs and to reach out to him in 20 years.
I'm sure by then he'll have at least 2 songs.
Do you have another 20 years in you to do WellsMania Podcast?
I don't know. I might be dead by then.
I mean, who knows, man? We live every day like it's our last. And I'm just a little upset that Tellamore, he rejected us. He told us no. So there was my impression of him. Wild, crazy WellsMania. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, that is what he sounds like.
He's on like the Mount Rushmore of legends with the Slammer.
Oh, you know, man. We are gonna have Slammer on a future episode of WellsMania Podcast. So
we need both of them. Just a round table.
Man, if we could get Tellamore and Slammer on an episode, I think that would be probably one of our highest rated episodes of all time.
Would be.
But Payton, we've got ourselves a pretty awesome, fun episode of WellsMania Podcast. We are a few days away from Saturday night's main event, so we will be diving in to our predictions. But also, you sent me this really cool commemorative tickets. Yes. And you said that you had 3 PLEs that you've personally been to. Do you want to shout out who this guy is?
Yes,
that's making these for you.
I'm gonna. So I was put on to this individual by Belts, Figures, and More. I don't know if you know who they are. They're a very big TikTok page. They collect hundreds and hundreds of belts. They do giveaways and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah. So Belts, Figures, and More, they reached out to me and they said, hey, we know that you're a big collector like we are, and we thought that you would like these. So they put me in contact. This guy's name is David Glenn, and you can find him on Instagram at In Exile Design. So it's
let me pull that up here. I'm gonna
pull it up. David Glenn, In Exile Design.
In Exile. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I am now following him.
Yes, he's pretty new at this. He kind of just started.
I can tell. Tell his followers aren't as high, but I'm sure they will be after this episode.
And he creates commemorative WWE, or it can be for any pro wrestling show, but he creates commemorative wrestling tickets for shows that you have attended in the past. And, you know, you know me, I love collecting things and I love commemorating things that I have done. So I thought, oh, wow, this would be really cool. Because, you know, for some of those older shows, you know, there weren't lapel pins and stuff like that.
Right.
So I thought, man, this would be cool to get some custom commemorative tickets made for PLEs that I've been to. So I put in an order for 3 of them just to see how they are. And from there, I will expand. But I got one. I put in an order for the one for Backlash because we were just there. It's the most recent. And then WrestleMania 27 and 28 are the other 2 that I put an order in for. And he has different levels of customizing. You can do the base one, which is just like the posters, you know, or you can up it and you can get fully custom ones where you can get like certain pictures and stuff added to the tickets as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at his Instagram right now, and he's got a lot of cool stuff on here. And yeah, you're right, man. When I went to obviously WrestleMania 8 back in 1992, unfortunately, what I did have from that show, I no longer have anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I had the event T-shirt, I had the ticket stub, which I have no idea where either one of those things has gone. So having this guy be able to make WrestleMania 8 commemorative tickets, that's a really cool idea for people like us who love to collect from shows that we've personally attended. And that you brought up a really fun idea. And you said that you've been to a certain amount of pay-per-views or PLEs, and
Yeah.
then I was eating lunch at Long John Silver's, by the way. I haven't had Long John Silver's since like the 90s, but there it was. I just
You're a
decided
brave man.
you know, it wasn't as bad as you think it is. I was genuinely surprised with how good the 2-piece chicken or 2-piece fish and 3-piece chicken meal is. So cheap plug for Long John's. Congratulations to you guys for still going strong in 2025. You got me to stop there today. But when I was in there, that's when we had this conversation. So then I started making a list of all the PLEs that I've personally been to, and you've made your list, and we will get to that. But before we do, you've got some shout outs that you want to give, because I've got some shout outs that I want to give.
Yes. The first one is she asked me to do it. She's been great. I know she's been in your lives as well. Our TikTok friend Keisha. She's
Keisha.
Been a wonderful member of both of our communities, and I wanted to give her a shout out. She's been really helping put over the brands. And I have the name, or at least the TikTok follower who created the sign on SmackDown.
Oh, yes. Yes. We haven't had a chance to talk about that.
No. So now that I'm thinking about it, I had a fan create a follow Stone Payne Productions sign. I had no idea. And then it was on television on USA Network right behind the commentators table. I was absolutely flabbergasted. It was incredible. My chat was blowing up. My phone was blowing up. Honestly, one of the coolest moments ever to just see someone all the way from Greensboro, North Carolina, do that for me on an episode of SmackDown. I mean, just absolutely surreal. The guy's TikTok, there's a lot of numbers here, so bear with me. Shadow 098765432210.
Did I hear a 9er in there?
Yeah, there's a 9 in there. So thank you for going out of your way and doing that. Truly one of the coolest things I have ever had happen to me and the brand. It is so much appreciated. So I do have a new request. From this point forward, you can now refer to me as the world's greatest co-host as seen on SmackDown. I think that,
Ooh,
yeah, I think that we're going to run with that for a while.
hell, run with it until the wheels fall off, brother.
So,
It is a really cool feeling, and I'm really glad that you had that happen to you because, yeah, it's always nice when people give you your flowers, and then on a national level like that, they're promoting you and your brand.
yes.
So you got to think, man, hundreds of thousands of people tuned in to that episode of SmackDown.
Yeah.
And do you have any idea of maybe how many new followers you've gained since that sign was shown?
I've gained at least 400 or 500 followers
Damn.
since that happened. And my videos,
Wow.
yeah, and my videos have been blowing up with just comments of like, "Hey, I'm here from the sign on SmackDown," and even like days later, people be like, "I saw your sign." I even had people come in during the live stream that night, and they were like, "Wait a minute, I thought you were at SmackDown." I'm like, "No, that wasn't me. I'm not
Right.
there.
You
That's
put yourself over at the show.
someone else did that for me." But just like, and we've talked about it before, but this is another level, to have a fan that was willing to go out of their way to go and make this sign and then take it into the arena and make sure it got on camera is a whole nother level. And truly, from the bottom of my heart, I am grateful. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that is a really special moment, something that you'll definitely cherish forever. And yeah, I'm just gonna lob it out there. Keep it coming, people. Don't just stop at one live show. Let's make it happen at another and another and another.
Now, I
Uh,
will say, be careful though, because they will confiscate it. The guy did tell me that after it was on TV, WWE officials came and confiscated the sign. So
yeah, so make your moment count.
yes,
Shoot your shot, as the kids say. And if I see anybody do that for WellsMania Podcast on Raw, SmackDown, or a PLE, I'll send you a free T-shirt, a free WellsMania
yep.
Podcast T-shirt. I'm sure Payton will probably
I've
do the same for
yep.
the Shadow Guy.
Merch has been made. It will be sent out this week. So I mean,
Awesome.
yeah,
No, I love hearing that. Because it's got to be because you go live for the shows,
yeah,
and you're probably just sitting there minding your own business, watching the show, and then all of a sudden you see it, and then everyone else sees it, and then they start bombarding you in your
yes,
live. It reminds me of when I was at WrestleMania 28 when my picture of Layla and I showed up on the jumbotron. My phone was just blowing up, and I was
yeah,
there. I was there
yeah.
in Sun Life Stadium watching it, so I know that feeling that you felt, and there's nothing quite like it, and it never gets old. You're kind of on that adrenaline high of, okay, when's it going to happen next? Like
Mm-hmm.
when am I going to see Stone Pain Productions on TV again?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, maybe this Saturday night down in Tampa, Florida, maybe we're going to start this new trend. Um,
Possibly.
but speaking of shout outs, I've got a couple. I just want to shout out Gunner. I don't know if you remember meeting Gunner at Squared Circle Expo. Him and his sister Nikki came up to the table. Gunner's a friend of the WellsMania podcast, so much so that last night my wife and I went to the movie theater and we saw the new Final Destination Bloodlines movie. No members of the Bloodline were in Final Destination Bloodlines. Spoiler alert, take that for what you will, but Gunner works there at the movie theater. And I love Gunner so much because I walk in and he's listening to the brand new episode of WellsMania Podcast from last week because I heard my voice. I'm like, wait a minute, this is like Inception. And then Gunnar told me that he listens to WellsMania Podcast to pass the time. He goes back and he listens to old episodes and listens to the newest ones. So thank you, Gunnar.
Is the ticket taker, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
That's usually where he's at.
You've probably seen him every single time you've gone to the movie theater.
I know. Okay. I know who he is.
Yeah. Gunnar is awesome, man. And he looks at me and he goes, I want to be on an episode of WellsMania Podcast. So Gunnar, I know you're listening right now, and you will, brother. We will have you on. You and your sister are more than welcome to come on a future episode of WellsMania Podcast and run wild, because he said to me that he has a fun idea for us when he's on that episode. So we'll have to find out whatever that fun idea is. But I love you, Gunnar, and thank you for running wild with Payton and I here on WellsMania Podcast. And speaking of Squared Circle Expo, Payton, do you remember Glenda and Laura from the end of day 2 when they came up to the table? It was right before we went to host the costume contest.
We met so many people that weekend. It's kind of a blur. Describe them to me.
So they were the ones that kept like freaking out, marking out over Megamondo.
Oh yeah. Okay. I know.
And
she very much did not like Isvan, if I remember correctly.
No. She can't stand Isvan. She thinks he's a puny little twerp, and she's absolutely terrified of Gunta. She said that Gunta would eat her, and that scares her. So I was just like, well, you don't have to worry about Gunta for a while, because unfortunately he's on the shelf. He's recovering from an injury. But Isvan, I think, Megamondo might cross paths with Isvan here soon. So that's all I told her. That's all I told her. And but I just wanted to shout out Glenda and Laura, because I saw them this morning at Walmart. They work at a Walmart, one of the Walmarts that I service. And man, they are so good to me. They make me feel like I'm a big deal whenever I'm in there. They started telling other people, this is WellsMania. This is Megamondo. You should listen to his podcast. You should follow him on Wrestle With This. Like, they are out there doing the work behind the scenes for us, man. So shout out to Glenda and Laura, and thank you. I thank you very much. I can't express that enough, how much that means to me and how much that means to Payton. Any other shout outs that you got, Payton?
No, I think we hit them all. I think most of them.
I think this is something that we'll be doing.
There's almost too many people to shout out. You know what I mean? So,
right. Which we can save them for future episodes of WellsMania Podcast, because I think one of the perks of subscribing to Stone Payne Productions on TikTok and subscribing to WellsMania on TikTok is us giving you shout outs on future episodes of WellsMania Podcast, because thousands of people listen to our show, which is incredible to me. I get the analytics, I get all the logistics, I get all the numbers. And this year, man, you and I have been skyrocketing, and we're only going to continue to explode in the pro wrestling world. So, but we couldn't do this. We couldn't do this without people like Shadow and people like Glenda and Laura and Gunnar, who are out here everyday life putting us over to people. So thank you very much. Now, Payton, let's go back to the PLEs, okay? Because this was a lot of fun, man. I took a nice little trip down memory lane, and I don't know, was there just a glitch right there? Was that the Wyatt 6?
I don't know. There was something that happened.
Dude, for those who are watching on YouTube, I don't know what that was. That was kind of trippy. I just happened to catch it in the corner of my eye. But yeah, let's go down our list of all of the pay-per-views and PLEs that you have attended and that I have attended. How do you
We'll give
how
a
do you how do you want to do this, man?
we'll start with you. Go ahead. How many wrestling pay-per-views in general? What is your total number? How many
Uh,
wrestling pay-per-views have you been to?
Let me count them real quick. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've been to 13, which
Okay.
that number
That
is
is that is shockingly low. I'm
it's
kind of
very
surprised.
surprising because there's a huge gap of time where I did not go to PLEs. And we'll get to that. But what's your number, Payton?
So, I have 17 wrestling pay-per-views total. One of those 17 being a non-WWE pay-per-view.
Which one was that?
So the only one that was a non-WWE pay-per-view was Starcast Ric Flair's last match from 2022.
Yes, because you wanted to be there to witness Ric Flair die in the ring. I remember
Yeah.
you saying that on a past episode of WellsMania
Uh,
Podcast that was the main reason why
yeah.
you went to that show.
So that's the only off-brand wrestling pay-per-view I've been to, which honestly is a very cool event that I can say that I attended. So
Absolutely.
but so that is one of the 17. The rest of the other 16 are all WWE events. So, but why don't you go through, list yours, and then because I'm sure we have a lot of the same ones on here.
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
So,
And once again, I did my very best to remember and go back. There might be some that I'm missing or forgetting that I went to. But the very first PLE that I ever attended was WrestleMania 8 back in 1992 at the Hoosier Dome. And then 15 years later was my next PLE, Peyton. So I told you there was a time gap. I went to WrestleMania 23 in Detroit in 2007. So from 1992 to 2007, I didn't attend any
wow.
PLEs,
So
which kind of blows my mind a little bit.
I had 2 PLEs in the middle of your gap then. So my debut at a PLE would have been the Great American Bash 2006.
Yes, which I surprisingly was not there.
Which was also the debut of the Punjabi prison. So I was
Kind of
there for
glad
the
I
first
wasn't
ever.
there.
But you got to imagine though, as a kid, it
Yeah.
was fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, I'm sitting there like in awe of this monstrosity, you know, thinking
I
like,
was
oh my
20.
God, how cool is this?
I was 20 years old in 2006. So definitely a bigger difference from somebody my age
Yeah.
compared to yours. Cause it's kind of like, what the hell is this? Like, why? What are we doing here?
But that was my first, the Great American Bash 2006. And then the one that I will never let you live down, my second PLE was SummerSlam 2008.
Yeah.
And you will forever regret why you weren't there.
Yeah. To this day, it's a wrestling unsolved mystery. But apparently, Roach thinks that I just didn't have the money to go because I was in college during that time, and I also was in college during the Great American Bash as well. So those could have been the very, very reasonable reasons that I did not attend either one of those PLEs is because I just didn't have the money at the time to do that.
Okay.
2011 was my next pay-per-view, which was down in Atlanta, Georgia, WrestleMania 27 in
Mine as well.
2011.
So I went from 08 to then 2011. And then I believe we both have the next one. We both immediately said, well, we got to go next year in WrestleMania 28 in Miami was the next one for me.
Yep, once in a lifetime. Literally, the second that match got announced, there were several of us that were like, "Yep, we are going to Miami. Everybody, make sure that your schedule is clear. We are not missing that. We are going down to Miami, Florida." And dude, 2012 was a pretty adventurous year for me because I went to 3 PLEs in 2012. Um, WrestleMania 28 in Miami, and then I went to Extreme Rules in Chicago, and then I
Okay.
went to Survivor Series right here in Indianapolis.
Yep. So Survivor Series would have been my next one, which we all know was the debut of the Shield.
Yeah,
I believe maybe it'd be both of ours. That is the only Survivor Series I've ever attended.
same.
Yeah. So
I hope
obviously
to change that later this year, though.
we're going to have to up the ante on the Survivor Series.
Yeah, and the Extreme Rules that I went to in Chicago, I got to watch John Cena versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh, okay. I never knew you attended that one.
Yes, I believe WWE Human Encyclopedia, Jared Giles, and I went to, and there might have been some other people that went with us, but we did, man. We made the trip over to Chicago. I'm pretty sure Big Poppy JD Roach was one of the people that went with us to that show because I think he lived in Chicago during this time, and we actually, if my memory uh, serves right, pretty sure we stayed at his house and saved on hotels. So thank you, Big Poppy, for that. 2016 was the next year that I went to a PLE, and that was right here in Indianapolis, Indiana, of Champions.
Yep. So I got two in the middle of that gap. Then I went to WrestleMania 30 in Nolens 2014. And then I hit WrestleMania 32 in Dallas, Texas, 2016. And then I would catch back up to you, Clash of Champions 2016 as well, which I feel like out of all the PLEs I've attended, that one flies under the radar. Like that one's always one I'm like, oh yeah, I went to a Clash of Champions.
Yeah, because you kind of do forget about it, and that's why
Yeah.
when I was sitting inside of Long John Silver's making this list, I was like, "Oh yeah, I did go to Clash of Champions in
Yeah.
2016."
So, and then I would have a gap. So StarCast 2022 is in there, but from Clash of Champions, it would be a pretty large gap for me because then I would not attend another PLE until WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles 2023.
Oh, okay. I went back to Chicago in 2018. I attended Money in the Bank.
Okay.
So I went to a Money in the Bank with WWE's biggest fan, John Glick. Him and I made the trip over, and it was really cool to experience my first and only live Money in the Bank PLE. And then fast forward, fast being the key word there, 2023, I went to Fastlane here in Indianapolis.
So 2023 was a stacked year for me. I WrestleMania 39, SummerSlam in Detroit. I went to that one.
Yeah,
That
I
would have been
forgot
my
you went to there.
Yeah, that would have been my second SummerSlam, and then also Fastlane right here in Indianapolis. So I hit 3 PLEs in 2023, and then I would do it again in 2024. 2024, I would go to my very first Royal Rumble in Tampa. I would go to WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and then I would go to SummerSlam in Cleveland. So 3 PLEs again in 2024.
I only went to one in 2024, and that was with you and the 5 foot giant Chris Engel when we made that horrible trip to Cleveland, Ohio for SummerSlam. Cleveland sucks, and I never want to go back to that city ever again. But the fast lane is where my lapel pin collection started.
Mm-hmm.
So that this has been a really fun added bonus to going to PLEs. So I guess that was another takeaway, a positive takeaway from Cleveland was getting another lapel pin to add to the collection.
And then we both would round out our lists with well, no, you have one more. I would round out my list with Royal Rumble 2025, which would be my second Rumble, and then Backlash 2025, which we both just attended. And then you would add WrestleMania 41 in there.
Yes, yes. 2025 so far has been a pretty loaded year for me. I've gone to 3 out of the 4 PLEs. Yeah, Royal Rumble in Indianapolis, which was my first Royal Rumble that I've ever attended. And then yes, WrestleMania 41 out in Las Vegas. I got married out there too, so that was an added championship for me. And Backlash with you most recently in St. Louis. So yeah, man, this was a lot of fun putting together these lists.
I have some breaking news because I'm going to add one to my list.
You're going to Saturday night's main event.
No. I am going to NXT Battleground on Sunday. I will be adding an NXT PLE to my list. And not only am I adding an NXT PLE to my list, I did something a little crazy.
You bought a front row ticket.
I will be sitting front row in the aisleway.
Woo!
So I will be on television for every single entrance at NXT Battleground.
Are you going to pull a Brock Lesnar guy and look right at the camera and sell to the camera every single time?
Probably.
You got to,
Maybe.
man.
Probably.
That's a big deal.
So I am stoked. I am unbelievably excited. I jumped on it because it was too good of a deal to pass up. I was wanting to attend NXT Battleground, and I got on there and just looking at tickets, and the price they were selling this front row ticket for, I could not pass it up. So I was like, you know what? You only live once. I'm doing it. Front row, aisleway. Why not? Let's add an NXT pay-per-view to the list. Yep, I will be there. So make sure you're all watching NXT Battleground Sunday because I'm going to be on TV a lot.
Hell yeah, man. Congratulations to you on that. I might just have to tune in to NXT Battleground now just to watch you during the entrances. But you know, something else when I was making this list, there were so many other pay-per-views and PLEs that I almost went to that I just didn't go to, like the Royal Rumble out in Arizona. A couple of my buddies went to that. They invited me. I didn't go. The Royal Rumble down in Tampa with you and Chris. You guys invited me. I literally almost booked my flight, hotel, and bought the ticket, but I ended up not going. WrestleMania, man. There are several WrestleManias that I almost went to, but I didn't go. But now I'm in the mindset of you got to go. If you have an opportunity to go to a show, don't regret not going. Like, don't look back and be like, man, I regret not going to that show.
It's also one of those things now where I feel like, me especially, you almost like, it's fun, but you almost have to look at it like an investment because now, like, we're officially in the content creation game. You know what I mean? We are wrestling content creators now. And these are things that you almost have to do. Like, you almost have to look at it as business, as an investment. You know, like when I bought my front row seat for Battleground, like, yeah, of course I did it because I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be so much fun. And I'm a wrestling fan. But then on the flip side, I'm like, the fucking content that I'm going to be able to make.
Yeah.
Sitting front row in the aisleway, like, it's too good of an opportunity to not pass up to grow a brand and to expand a business. So it's almost a necessity now to try to go to as many PLEs as you possibly can.
No, you're right. And like when I went out to WrestleMania 41, the amount of content that I created, it really helped launch my TikTok. I mean, I gained over 2,000 followers while I was out there.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, people love living vicariously through us
Yes.
and giving them an opportunity to run wild with us. This is a reason why you should follow Stone Payne Productions. This is a reason why you should follow WellsMania. We are out here making this content not just for us. I mean, we're having fun doing it, but we're really doing it for you. Like, we're making it
Yeah.
happen for you. So you should the next time you get on TikTok live, you should take special requests from your fans
To
on
do
what
certain things.
to do certain things, like give me your live reaction during so and so's entrance. Like, I want to see what that would look like.
Yeah.
Just fun stuff like that. But no,
Maybe I can
man,
become the Obafemi guy.
you could. There could be a new gimmick for you out there. I did get, speaking of TikTok live, people give me suggestions all the time for things that they want us to talk about on WellsMania Podcast. And one that I was doing there for a while, but if I don't get any questions, can't do the segment, right? It's Ask WellsMania, which is questions geared towards you, questions geared towards me. And I
Mhm.
lobbed it up on the WellsMania Facebook page because I have over 26,000 followers on my Facebook page, which is still insane to me.
Mhm.
But I've got some questions here, and I'm going to read them to you. I have not really looked at these questions, so bear with me, Payton. But the first one is from Kevin Dininger. This is an easy one. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Yeah, I think
I'm a
I
like, are we talking like morning tea? Because like I drink a lot of like green tea, but if for like an energy boost, I gotta have my coffee.
yeah, and I love me some sweet tea. Like, I'll drink sweet tea like nobody's business, but I think I drink more coffee than I
Yeah.
do sweet tea, especially the older I'm getting.
Yeah.
And now I know why our grandparents were always drinking coffee.
Well, and let's be real. There's nothing better than that first sip of hot coffee in the morning.
Yeah, it's a great way to
You know
start
what I
your day.
mean?
But me personally, I like to start my mornings with Alani New because I work for Alani. So Alan McCollum, what's up, Alan? Alan listens to WellsMania Podcast when he's out working in the stores that he services. He says, "When do we start to get 2 episodes of WellsMania Podcast a week?"
When we start getting paid.
Yeah, I would say that. And here's the thing too, and I actually got asked this a couple days ago. People were like, "WellsMania, why don't you go live more on TikTok?" And I said, because I got a life, man. I got to balance. I got to balance my life. I got a job. I've got a wife. I mean, I do things outside of professional wrestling. Um, so it's all about balance. So to answer your question, Alan, Peyton nailed it, man. If we start getting paid to do more than just one episode a week, I think my wife would be okay with me squeezing in another hour of WellsMania Podcast. Um, Kevin Dininger has another question for us. This is a fun one. Who had the better streak, Goldberg or The Undertaker?
The Undertaker. Not even a question. Goldberg's they were adding matches onto Goldberg's streak that he never even had. And the Undertaker's became like the epitome of the biggest wrestling show on the planet for 20 plus years. I mean, there was a good chunk of time there where WrestleMania was the Undertaker, was the streak. People tuned into WrestleMania to see who the next victim of the streak would be. So I have to go Undertaker.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Like, you would go to WrestleManias just to see if the Undertaker's opponent would be the one to end the streak. I mean, when the streak got to its height,
Yeah.
I think probably during his matches with Shawn Michaels is really when I feel like the streak became larger than WrestleMania itself. And fortunately, we got, 2 Taker Michaels matches, and then 2 Taker Triple H matches, and then we got Taker versus Punk, and then it was over, and then the streak ended. You were there. You got to witness the streak end. But I agree with Payton. Don't get me wrong. I loved witnessing Goldberg's undefeated streak. And I actually was telling Tag Team Twinning this a couple days ago when they posted a video about who has the best spear in all of professional wrestling. My answer every single time will be Goldberg. I mean, Goldberg's spear back in its heyday, back in its prime, there was nothing else like it. I know a lot of today's fans don't realize how big of a deal Goldberg was during the Attitude Era.
There's so much forced Goldberg hate in today's society.
Yeah,
it's just
way too much. So if you're one of those Goldberg haters, do yourself a favor and go back and watch Goldberg during his WCW prime, because that Goldberg, that's still the Goldberg that I see whenever I see Goldberg. I know he's gotten older, but the dude's still in great shape for being in his 50s, and he could still hit a spear. And we'll probably be seeing that here on Gunther pretty soon. Last question here. This is from Brad Sparks, and he catered it towards you because you're not an NBA, NFL guy. But he said 5 NBA stars versus 5 NFL stars versus 5 WWE stars in a traditional Survivor Series match. Who do you got and who wins? Or to make it easier for Payton, go 5 Star Wars. I'm guessing Star Wars. Or wait, I don't know what he typed here. 5 something low stars versus 5 WWT stars.
I would, regardless of, I'll answer the first question. I mean, it's got to be WWE people. It's a Survivor Series elimination match. You have to go with the WWE stars in an elimination match. They're the ones who know how to wrestle. So I think we can all safely assume the first team eliminated would be the NBA stars. I don't think they would be able to hang in a match with linebackers, and they would probably be the first ones taken out.
Today's NBA players, yeah, but I mean, if you go back and like get people during the 90s, like give me Shaq, give me, Dennis Rodman, that Survivor Series team would be pretty sick. But
I still, at the end of it all, I say WWE would take it.
Yeah, I mean, easy. But then you put up WWT superstars, and I don't know what he was trying to spell here. I think it was a typo, and I'm sure he'll correct us when he listens to this episode. But yeah, man, ask WellsMania. It's a fun way to get you all involved with the show. I know a lot of people have been dying for us to go live, and I'm telling you, the more money I make off of my TikToks, I'm putting that money to the side so that way I can get a StreamYard next tier up subscription. And then that way Payton and I can go live on Wednesdays, because people want to run wild with us live, and they can interact. You can interact during a live show. So I think that's the next evolution of where WellsMania Podcast is going. Payton, our favorite Saturday night's obsession is back. This Saturday night down in Tampa, Florida, we've got Saturday night's main event. There are only 4 matches on the card as of right now. We will dive into those, and let's start with the steel cage match between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. Who you got?
Well, I think this will be a great match. These guys have great chemistry together. I have one request, and I'm going to get to my winner, but my one request is I want this to be the old school blue cage. It's Saturday night. It's Saturday night's main event. It's old school. If it's not the old blue cage, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more with you.
It has to be that cage. as far as the winner goes, I feel like Priest is probably going to take this one because McIntyre won at WrestleMania. So I think Priest will probably win by escaping the cage before McIntyre does. So my money's on Priest.
I agree with you on both fronts. I would love that old school blue cage. I mean, this is Saturday night's main event after all, and give us all the nostalgia. It doesn't get much more nostalgic than that when you think of cage matches. And I agree with you. Damian Priest has to win this match to get his revenge over Drew McIntyre. And I feel like Damian is just due for a win because Drew won at Mania. Damian lost at Mania. Damian lost at Backlash. So I feel like Damian Priest needs to get a win here to get that momentum heading into Money in the Bank. The next match is a tag team match, and we've got Braun Breaker and Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Who you got in this one?
I got the Heyman family taking the dub here. It's way too early in this storyline to start handing out losses to this faction. They need this victory. Sammy's going to be the one to eat the pin. And it would not shock me if they do get a third member added to the family in this match, if that's how they pull it off. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it would not shock me if it did. My pick for a third member of the family is still Bronson Reed. I feel like Bronson Reed would fit wonderfully in that group, and he's one of those heels that I think could use it. So whether it's by a new member being added or not, I think Seth and Braun take the win here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we're going to agree on a lot of these matches, if not all four of them. Braun and Seth have to get the win. I mean, they're still building their Heyman guy faction or Heyman family, the new alliance, whatever. We still don't really have a name for these guys. We still don't have an official name for them. I'm hoping that eventually we will get that. But in the meantime, I like the Heyman family. I like the Heyman guys. I like the new alliance as a playoff of the dangerous alliance from back in the WCW days. But yeah, Braun and Seth are going to get the win here. I have a feeling that Sami Zayn is going to turn on CM Punk. And I think Sammy's going to join Braun and Seth Rollins because Sami Zayn, and I know I'm not the biggest Sami Zayn fan, but you need to do something with him to really cater to what he's good at. And Sami Zayn is good at being a heel. I mean, Sami Zayn is really good at being a heel. He's already been that comedic, goofball, goon, jabroni. We need to get him on a serious page. And I think having him align with Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins would kind of fit what those guys are doing. I'm not opposed to Bronson Reed being the third guy. I just don't know where he's at with his injury. I don't know if he's cleared to come back yet, but all in all, I think Braun and Seth are going to win this match, which takes us to John Cena versus R-Truth, which is not the main event of Saturday night's main event, Payton. And I'm a little upset about that because
as far as we know,
it could be, but I've got a feeling that the main event is going to be Jey Uso versus Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight title. But who you got in this one? I mean, R-Truth is facing his childhood hero, John Cena.
Here. I think R-Truth wins.
That's not that shocking.
I think R-Truth wins. And you want to know why I think that?
Tell me why.
It's not for the championship. It's a non-title match. There's a reason that they made this a non-title match. I think everyone is going into this expecting John Cena to just squash R-Truth. There's so much talk about like, why is this match even happening? Which those comments are ridiculous. If you don't think R-Truth deserves this spotlight, then you're just a toxic human being that doesn't appreciate.
And people have not been paying attention.
No, the 20 plus years of work that R-Truth has given us. He absolutely deserves this match, but it's not for the title, which means Truth could win. And I think that he does win because I think Cody Rhodes returns, and that will be enough to allow R-Truth to beat John Cena.
We all are wondering, where the hell is Cody Rhodes and when is he going to come back? And he's been gone since WrestleMania. We haven't seen him since he lost to John. Is it too soon to bring back Cody and get him inserted back with Cena? I mean, eventually they're going to have to cross each other's roads at some point. See what I did there?
I don't think so. I mean, especially if you take into consideration the rumor of this tag match potentially happening at Money in the Bank where John Cena would team with Travis Scott, So if that does end up happening, I think the only likely opponent would be Cody Rhodes and somebody else. And then that could catapult into SummerSlam season. So I don't know, man. Something about Cody coming back and costing Cena a match against R-Truth,
It's hitting with you, as the kids say. It just hits right.
That's what's up.
I see what you did there. I am very excited for this match. I have really enjoyed R-Truth keeping John Cena's legacy alive while Cena was away, out in Hollywood doing his thing. R-Truth was here, still doing the 5-knuckle shuffle and doing the "You Can't See Me." It's beautifully poetic. And now we get to see these guys go one-on-one. We haven't seen these guys go one-on-one since what, 2011? It was 2011. So this is some nostalgia for a John Cena fan like me, because I really enjoyed the John Cena R-Truth storyline. I've enjoyed it this whole time. With that being said, John Cena is going to win. Title on the line or not, John is not losing. John is not losing for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to continue to rack up the dubs. And I've got something that I'm sticking my guns to. CM Punk is going to come out and help R-Truth after the match, because Cena is absolutely going to obliterate R-Truth. He's going to take out his anger. He's going to continue to prove why he is a heel, and he's going to beat the shit out of R-Truth. And after the match, John is going to do some very unspeakable things to R-Truth. But before he can do that, CM Punk is going to come out, and we are going to get CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank. Now, people have come at me and they're like, well, we need a bigger build than 2 weeks. 2 weeks isn't enough time, WellsMania. We don't need build for John Cena versus CM Punk. The writing is right there. They had the match back in 2011. They've got that nostalgia. They've got the history. We don't need this long build-up to a John Cena versus CM Punk match. It can be as easy as CM Punk hijacking, because remember the last time that we saw CM Punk with R-Truth and John Cena? We got the pipe bomb, man. We got the pipe bomb out of it. So we could get that again here. I think CM Punk will insert himself, and this is how we get John Cena versus CM Punk in Los Angeles at Money in the Bank for the undisputed WWE title, because Punk is going to lose earlier in the night. So this can give him another reason to now get involved with John Cena and turn his attention to that. So Jey Uso putting the World Heavyweight title on the line against my boss, Logan Paul. Will we have a new World Heavyweight champion here, Payton?
No yeet. Jey Uso is going to retain. It's not the time or place to take the title off of Jey Uso at a Saturday night's main event. I just don't see it happening. Logan Paul, I absolutely think, is going to be a world champion at some point in his WWE run. It is not going to be here. Logan Paul is simply the catalyst for expanding the babyface title run of Jey Uso. Jey retains.
Man, as much as I want to see Logan Paul beat Jey Uso just to see the reaction from the IWC, I want to pick Logan Paul to win so bad. But I agree with you. I feel like Jey is going to retain. And then we are going to get the WrestleMania rematch, Gunther versus Jey Uso. And what happens there?
Goldberg.
Yeah, it's got to be Goldberg.
That's got to
be. It has to be Goldberg.
That has to be the Goldberg spot because having Jey beat Gunther again clean that would absolutely be an aura killer for Gunther, especially after what he just did with Pat McAfee. You have to have something major go down for the reason that Gunther does not win the title back on that Raw. And the only thing I can think of is that is where Goldberg comes out and confronts Gunther.
Yeah, I agree with you. It has to be, because we all thought Goldberg was going to help Pat there at Backlash, but that wasn't the case. So now you have this opportunity to have Goldberg cost Gunther the Monday Night Raw, where Gunther said, I'm going to take on the winner of this match between Jey and Logan. That is a perfect opportunity to bring Goldberg in, and then thus set up Goldberg versus Gunther for SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. Payton, that's it, brother. Those are our predictions for Saturday night's main event. We are under the 1 hour mark. So I'm proud of myself for keeping us on track, because normally I'm the one that goes off the tracks and you're usually the one that brings me back on. So before we go, is there anything else you want to get out there? If not, go ahead and plug your social media.
Yes, next week, I may or may not be here. We'll see. I'm going to be in Florida next week.
Again.
Lucky. And in the day that we usually record, I believe I'm going to be at Disney that day. So
totally understandable.
Maybe you'll get me. Maybe you'll have a surprise co-host. I don't know. We'll see. But possibly. You can follow me at Stone Payne Productions on TikTok, Stone Payne Prod on X.
Well, brother, have fun down in Florida. We all look forward to seeing you running wild at NXT Battleground. And we will see. Let me know if you cannot make it being live at Disney for an episode of WellsMania Podcast, then I might have to reach out and find a special guest co-host with me next week. So we shall see. But thank you, brother. Be safe. Safe travels. Have fun down there in Florida. Hey, thank you all so much for running wild with WellsMania Podcast, episode 176. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to follow me all over everywhere at WellsMania. Subscribe to WellsMania Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You can buy WellsMania merch at brainbustertees.com. You can also buy other wrestling merch. I'm wearing a Wrestling is Real t-shirt. This is on my TikTok shop. That's right. I'm a part of the TikTok shop affiliate program. So help me out right there on TikTok. Payton, thank you as always. And until next episode, take care, stay positive, run wild, and dominate the day.